Welcome to Star Wars Action News, helping Star Wars collectors collect better.
Hello, Star Wars Action News listeners. I'm Jerry here with my latest Vintage Viewpoint. Hey, before I get into my review today, I wanted to follow up on my segment from episode 418 from just over 2 years ago, in which I was talking about the various CD soundtrack releases over the years. The Star Wars Ultimate Soundtrack Collection was released on CD and vinyl a few weeks ago. I was on a business trip when I saw the sets in a store, but I didn't pick up the CDs as I didn't want to travel back with them. But then I was disappointed because Amazon once had them for $44 during the pre-order, but now they're back to $57.67, with the albums being $204. Now, I don't think that's a bad price considering how many CDs are actually in this set. I'm going to be patient and wait for it to drop again. Now, just as a reminder, this set includes the soundtracks for the first 6 films in mini album jackets on 9 CDs. The 10th CD has audio interviews with John Williams and Harrison Ford. Also included is the DVD Star Wars: A Musical Journey, which you may have picked up around the time of Revenge of the Sith when it was released on DVD. Lastly, this set includes a fold-out poster and 3 stickers. Now, as far as I can tell based on the video preview on Amazon, the discs are identical to previous releases. The prequel soundtracks appear to have the same disc art as their original releases, and the original trilogy soundtracks appear to be identical to the 30th anniversary CD set that I reviewed on episode 418. It seems to be the same disc art and the same mini jackets. So the only thing new about this set that I can tell is the outer packaging, the mini album jackets for the prequels, the interview CD, the fold-out poster, and the 3 stickers. So yeah, admittedly, I'm not too terribly excited about this, but again, if the price drops below $50, I'll get it in the name of completeness of my North American CD soundtrack collection. Now, the vinyl set seems to be the real get here, as we really haven't had anything like this released for the prequels or re-released for the original soundtracks. But for $200, I'm not too terribly interested. I don't personally have a vinyl collection, and there's no reason to start one now. So on to my review. Now, believe it or not, my review today is inspired by the upcoming release of Batman v Superman: The Dawn of Justice. Now, I'm fairly excited about this movie, and there is actually one Star Wars item that I'm going to discuss that has a unique Batman connection. For those of you who dabble in the world of Batman collecting, you may already be on to me, but I'll save the specifics of the connection for a little later. The item I'm going to discuss today is the Stormtrooper Blaster, or the Blastech E11 rifle as it's later became known, that Kenner and Hasbro has released over the years. We first saw this style of blaster produced by Kenner in 1978 as the 3-position laser rifle. This one was unique because it had a fold-out stock that would allow you to hold the blaster in 3 positions. Here's what the Kenner toy catalog said about it. Authentic laser look, 2-speed laser sound. Star Wars laser rifle looks and sounds real, yet it's completely safe. It has a 3-position stock, giving it 3 different appearances. Laser battle with stock extended. Sneak attack has stock folded underbarrel, making it an easy carry compact rifle. Standing guard with front grip down. The secret button and hand grip energizes the motor trigger that activates a 2-speed laser sound. The label inside the barrel rotates, giving a visual laser look. 2D batteries not included. Now, you may recognize this 3-position stock from the fact that some of the recent Hasbro Stormtrooper and Sandtrooper figures prior to the 5 POA transition actually came with a blaster that had this same 3-position stock, but in the 3 3/4 inch scale. Now, one other feature of this blaster is that it had a see-through scope on top. It didn't have any crosshairs or anything in it, but it simulated a scope nonetheless. Now, in this original Star Wars release, there's no decoration on it, but rather there are 2 Star Wars stickers on either side of the back of the blaster. In 1980, this blaster was re-released for the Empire Strikes Back line. Now, as a transition, I suppose, I have occasionally come across the 3-position rifle in a Star Wars box, but with Empire Strikes Back labels on the blaster. I'm not sure if this actually saw a release or if it was just some mock-up of some variety, or perhaps they just started getting those Empire Strikes Back stickers in, but had a few of the 3-position laser rifles and the outer boxes available, so they just did a run out of sorts. But in general, we got a new version of the rifle that no longer had the fold-out stock that was unique to the Empire Strikes Back line. It was just a base blaster with Empire Strikes Back labels, but many of the details were now red, such as the trigger, the secret button on the handle, that, by the way, actually allows the trigger to activate the electronics when you press it, and the spinning inside barrel is now red, not yellow and black as the original Star Wars release was. Now, as you may be used to seeing now, there was not a red tip on the barrels as you would see today. Those regulations didn't exist back then. There was no Return of the Jedi release of this in the vintage collecting era. I suppose that might be because instead, we got a release of the brand new Biker Scout Blaster. In contrast, the Han Solo Blaster was originally made in 1978 along with the 3-position laser rifle, and it saw re-releases for both Empire and Jedi. Now, this blaster rifle mold has seen a lot of action over the years. It was first re-released in 1996 in the orange Power of the Force packaging, though this time it was molded in white with a red tip, but likewise did make electronic sounds. Though the sounds were different, and now instead of having a spinning barrel inside, it just featured lights. Now, this was kind of hard to swallow since it's so different than the film version, though it was fun to pretend that it was a snowtrooper blaster, screen accuracies aside. It saw another re-release in 1997 in green Power of the Force packaging, but this time it had a dark gray, black camouflage appearance. Again, not very screen accurate, but I thought it was very cool looking. We would see it again in white as a Disney Star Tours exclusive in 2003, and again in 2005 as a black Clone Trooper Blaster for Revenge of the Sith. That one was then re-released in 2006 in Saga Packaging. 2006 also had a Saga Packaging version of this same blaster, but was called a Stormtrooper Blaster, and the box featured 2 Stormtroopers instead of 2 clones. They were marketed at the same time. In fact, the back of the packaging for one of those items referenced the other. Now, since they were out simultaneously, they actually had different deco schemes. The Clone Trooper Blaster is all black, with some weathering deco, whereas the Stormtrooper one is clean, but has a black and gray two-tone appearance. It's probably actually my favorite modern version in terms of gun deco and packaging aesthetic. Then another white version came out in 2009 in Legacy Packaging, which itself was directly re-released in new packaging in 2011. By that I mean the 2009 and 2011 versions seem to have the exact same black and red highlights on a white molded blaster. Then the Star Tours one was re-released in new packaging in 2012. Now that is a bunch of re-releases, and you have to forgive me, I wouldn't be surprised if I missed 1 or 2 of them here or there. But what a great testament to the quality of design that this original vintage item had in terms of its aesthetic and toy appeal to be remade so many times with what I can tell to be very few, if any, changes. Now on eBay, I find that many of these are fairly pricey in new packaging. I see them everywhere from $35 to $100. Loose ones, of course, are less depending on how used they are. Vintage ones are very tough to come by, either packaged or even just in good condition. For a mint and boxed vintage one, I would expect to pay a few $100s. So wait, what does this have to do with Batman? Well, recall, Kenner made Batman toys not only during the Superpowers line in the 80s, but also starting with the 1990 Dark Knight collection, which followed the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman film. In that line, we actually saw a toy called the Batman Sonic Neutralizer that was indeed a recycled Stormtrooper Blaster. Now, I was a big fan of the 1989 Batman film, and I saw this blaster on the back of the action figure cards, but I never remember seeing it in stores. I would have absolutely have gotten it if I had ever seen it. However, fortunately, a few years later, I came across a fairly used one at a yard sale. It was just a few bucks, and I simply had to have it. Now, it's completely recognizable as a Stormtrooper Blaster. It's molded in black and has dark metallic gold trim on the trigger, the safety button, and the inside barrel. And of course, a Batman emblem where the Star Wars stickers used to be, but all that does nothing to hide its origins. The oddest part of the recycle, though, is the bright orange Batman emblem that you're supposed to place on the tip of the barrel. Because this clearly isn't a rifle. Batman doesn't use guns. So it must require some parabolic dish to send out the paralyzing sonic waves or something like that. I came across one of these on eBay a little while back that had very little bidding interest, and I was able to get it new in packaging for just $20 shipped. Now, the box wasn't in really good shape, but it cleaned up all right, and the blaster itself, because it's exposed in the package, did have some scuffs on it, but overall, it was a great buy. So hopefully this review will bring back fond memories of a great vintage toy, and at the same time, get you excited for one of the first superhero blockbuster movies of the season.
Thanks for watching this video. You can see full episodes of Star Wars Action News with more collecting news and reviews at swactionnews.com. We also have thousands of toy and collectible photos in our photo gallery. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. May the pegs be stocked and the Force be with you.